Srixon makes incredible irons, and everybody in the world of golf should know that by now. But what about their drivers? Today we're going to be talking about one of 3 they've released for this year, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by the product. I'm Ryan Ballengee with Golf News Net. It's great to have you here on the channel again. Today we're going to be talking about the ZX5 LS driver. And this is probably one you may not have heard of, but this is one for a player who needs a little bit lower launch and certainly less spin off the tee. That's what LS stands for in all of these types of clubs. This is the 3rd driver offering that Srixon has in this lineage of model. You've got the ZX5, which instead of having the weight port forward, they have the weight port back. And then there's the ZX7, which is more customizable, has 2 weight ports, heel and toe, so that you can dial in your weight, your shot shape preference. This is kind of in that middle ground. So of the 2, this has between ZX5 and ZX7, this has more of a flat, larger presence in terms of how it looks on the ground. ZX7 a little bit taller in terms of definition. So this is a little bit more of a confidence-inspiring shape, but also designed to keep that spin lower, give you a little bit of a lower launch, but also while having something that is fairly forgiving relative to the ZX5, which is more forgiving than the ZX7, and gives you an opportunity to, as a better player, to kind of have that lower spin option as part of their lineup. So let's go ahead, start hitting some shots with it, and we'll take you through the review as we go through the session. So the way this sets up, it does set up a little bit closed, and it does have a little bit of an elongated shape. It's very similar to the Cobra driver that I use, the Aerojet, in terms of shape. It's very eye appealing. The crown is not particularly shiny. It's got a matte style finish on it, so that looks good. Frames the ball well. Let's go ahead and hit one. That's off the inside heel, and that's still going to go pretty well. Fairly low spin. It's going to get to the back of the fence, so it's going to be a good 265, 270 without hitting it all that well. Very forgiving driver. Get you a better launch on this one. A little bit more of a controlled swing there. Nice little cut. That's going to get to the back of the range. Right into the hill. That's exactly what I want out of this driver. Yeah, we're talking range balls here, so we're losing some distance, and obviously we don't get run out. I am a heavy run out player. Love kind of hitting it 275, 280, let it run out to 300. If I'm particularly hitting it well, carry a 285, 295, and let it run out from there. So this low spin product is exactly what I want in my driver. Perfect. Right down Broadway, 1 yard cut, absolutely smoked. Very happy with that. The sound of these are very pleasant. It's a little bit more tinny, I think, than some other manufacturers, but I kind of like it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of drivers from the early 2000s, 2010s. It may grate some people. It doesn't sound kind of like the thunk. It sounds a little more like a tink. Some people like that tink, and at least in this product, I do like that. All right, for this round, I kind of want to give you just an idea of club head coming through impact, not so much me swinging the club, just so you can kind of see how it all works, how it looks at the moment of truth. Low on the face there, and still goes pretty well, kind of lower trajectory, which you should expect, but it got to the back of the range. Still carried it extremely well. That was a little higher, by design, a little higher cut. Hit a little bit higher on the face as well. A little bit shorter, but I'm pretty happy with how that looks, how that sounds. You can get a lot of good feedback off this club. I will say that. You know exactly where you're hitting it. High, low, in or out. Heel and toe are pretty easy to figure out. High and low, not as easy sometimes. But with this, you know, right away. That's about all I got. That's beautiful. That almost cleared the range. We're a little bit in front of where we normally would be when we're hitting here, so I'm trying to keep it in the range, but I'm very happy with that one. We'll hit one more here that's good, then we'll change angles. Yep, that'll do nicely. Little bleeder out to the right. Got a little aggressive with the wrists at impact, but that's still pretty decent. That would find a fairway. So the big kind of featured all of this is Rebound Frame for Srixon. So they basically have, you know, the bouncing trampoline effect on the face that you would expect. But then on the inside, they have another ring of titanium that also rebounds. So kind of right about in here. And the idea is that it rebounds twice. Now, that's kind of like a pocket that you might see in other equipment. Similar kind of concept. It works the same. It's not like it's a rocket that gives you, 25 more yards. This is all kind of in the same USGA play box that everyone has to work within. However, it does help to kind of make it a little bit more forgiving and offer a little bit more distance with each and every shot. That was a good one there. Got to the back of the range. Not too far, we're trying to keep it in. And these are also practice balls, that helps. But that's exactly kind of what I want. It's just a lazy-ish cut when I want to hit one. When I want to rear up and try to smoke one, then I kind of get full bore into it and lean back like this. Little 4 or 5 yard draw. Gonna lean into the inside, deliver it out. Makes for a pretty easy opportunity to hit the ball a little bit farther. It's going to run forever. That's the kind of drive I want to hit on a par 5. We'll hit one more here. Was a little behind on that, but it still wound up going pretty straight. A little off the target, but just about as good as I can expect for that quality of swing. All right, so after having shown you about 20 balls here on the range here at Argyle Country Club, I wanted to give you my thoughts on this driver and just kind of who this might be best for. So obviously this club, being the LS model, is more recommended for someone who's a little bit better of a player or a spinny player who's just trying to kill spin as best they can. The way this comes off the club, I'm very impressed by it. It keeps up with some of the best lower spinning products that I have. I like a low spin shaft, so I'm already kind of in that department. This isn't spinning too low with that combination of the hazardous shaft, so we're in good position there in terms of all the numbers that I've seen using a launch monitor and what I've seen on the golf course when I use this. Bringing in that stiff shaft actually really hasn't changed the complexion of how far I hit it too much. You actually find that long drive hitters, the players who do long drive for a living, not like longer golfers, they tend to use shafts with a lot of flex on it because it really helps them perform a little bit better. So flex is not necessarily a bad thing. You have to find that right mixture of torque and weight and flex, and that's different for every golfer, and sometimes you have some multiple options there that can work for you. I think moving forward, I would stick with the stiff or the extra stiff hazardous, but this is a viable option for me because it's a similar profile in everything other than the stiffness rating, which again can kind of be a little bit different from family to family and manufacturer to manufacturer. The club is very forgiving, all things considered for a low spin model. When I hit a poor ball, especially lower on the face and toward the heel, it is quite forgiving. It has a lower profile, so I tend to tee it up a little bit lower. I also tend to have kind of close to a negative angle of attack with the driver at times, so I can have a propensity to hit a little bit higher on the face. Teeing it lower and just swinging a little bit softer with the combination of head and shaft works out great for me. Of course, your swing's going to be different and your results are going to vary. But this is an excellent club. Srixon is a family that makes incredible golf equipment. I have their ZX5 MKII irons in the bag. They are long and mean and nasty, and they're great. I love everything about them. I really do like this ZX5, the LS. I think it's worth a look for you if you're in the market for a driver. I've not tried the ZX7, so I don't have a good point of comparison, but if you're looking for something that is pretty forgiving, whether it's in this LS model or the regular model, this is a good starting point for you, and it's worth a consideration in a market where drivers are anywhere from $400 to $750 these days. I'm Ryan Ballengee. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.